If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or any cheap PC games, use the referral link in the description. It will take you over to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods, and if you use the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well. Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Valencia career mode here on FIFA 16. We're starting by having a look at what the Champions League objective is this year at Valencia. They want us to finish top 4 in La Liga. They want us to get to the round of 32 in the Copa del Rey, but they want us to reach the semi-final of the Champions League, which I think is a bit far-fetched, to be completely honest, in this first season. I admire their ambition as a board, but I think it's a little bit too much, so we will try our best to get to the semi-final of the Champions League. But I really don't see Valencia as one of the top 4 sides in European football right now. We're struggling to be one of the top 4 sides in La Liga with the success that Sevilla and Atletico Madrid have had over recent years, so we'll do our absolute best, but we may have to wait until the second season before we're really challenging on all fronts, both domestically and European. But we start with a game in the pre-season tournament here against a side that we would be coming up against, you might have thought, in, say, the group stage or early knockout rounds of the Champions League. It's Zenit St. Petersburg. They actually take a good 1-0 lead here. I'm starting my strongest side in this first friendly, as we did with Nottingham Forest in the episode on Sunday in that series when we were taking part in the group stage. Not the best of introductions to Matthew Ryan as the new Australian goalkeeper. I was missing Pablo Piatti and Diego Alves, as they're both involved in the Copa America right now in this first pre-season, so my Brazilian and Argentinian stars are unavailable for selection for the pre-season tournament. But we have Matthew Ryan in between the sticks, and unfortunately the first thing he did was let me down. Doubly unfortunate is the fact that we're losing Mustafi after 25 minutes to an injury. You see him holding his shoulder there. I was panicking. I was thinking, no, please don't dislocate your shoulder in the first game that we ever play. We've already lost Nicolas Otamendi to Manchester City before we've even started. I don't want to lose my second best centre-back to a long-term injury immediately in pre-season. Luckily, it was only a bruised shoulder, and he was able to return later in the episode. He was only out for 5 days. Did miss the second game, but in fairness, like we did with Nottingham Forest, playing the full squad in this pre-season tournament, so the second game is more of a rotation side anyway, so he wouldn't have been involved, couldn't have been involved even if I wanted him to be, but will be involved in the third and final group stage game of this pre-season tournament. Zenit clearly the better side so far, as we're taking our time getting used to playing with this new side. Obviously it's a 4-3-3 formation, which is something that I've not used that often in FIFA 16. I did use a 4-3-3 a few times on FIFA 15, but I tended to use it with 2 centre mids and a cam, or 2 CDMs and a centre mid, rather than the 2 CMs and a CDM, which is the scenario here at Valencia. So we made a few changes before we got to the end of the game, as you saw there. Obviously, like we said in the Nottingham Forest save, we're able to make unlimited changes in pre-season tournaments now this year, which is a fantastic addition. Enzo Perez, who came off the bench, turned out to be a fantastic addition to the game, let alone just the ability to bring him onto the pitch with a handful of other players. He scores the equaliser for us in the 85th minute, really well taken as well. You can see there's space between him and the defender, but that first touch takes him the other side of him. Defender commits one way, Enzo goes the other. New signing, obviously, at Valencia in the previous season. Has been there for about 6 months now. I think he arrived from Benfica in the January of last year. I might be mistaken, but I believe that's true. Obviously, you guys will correct me in the comments section if I am mistaken there, as you have every right to do. But we drew the first game, as you saw, with Zenit. Benfica were able to beat Junior Barranquilla. I believe that's the side that Chani Sports used for his Junior FC series back in FIFA 14 and FIFA 15. So it's quite nice actually to play a side that, it's obviously a side from a league that I wouldn't necessarily have been too familiar with. However, thanks to Chani, I am aware of their existence. So I guess that's a positive. But we start with Benfica first, starting a rotation side against them, as we mentioned, although Danny Parejo seems to have, despite only having 80 stamina in his stats, the ability to play a game 2 days later with having like 95% stamina left, whereas everybody else was still really, really tired. Unfortunately, we didn't start the game off very well and went 1-0 down, same as we did against Zenit. The goal against Zenit was perhaps more from their skill, with a decent header pipping the keeper to it, and unfortunately that one was just them Benfica getting lucky as the ball rebounded back to the striker after Jaume. I'm recording this video before you guys have seen episode number 1, so I still don't know how to pronounce that name, unfortunately, and I'm sure you guys will correct or will tell me in episode number 1. But obviously, with 2 new series starting over the space of 3 days, I have had to record at least a couple of episodes ahead in at least one of the series, just to make sure I can keep up with the 2 videos daily for you guys. So I'm sure you can appreciate that. We are 1-1 now, though, in the second half. We're able to get ourselves an equaliser just before the break through Alvaro Negredo from the penalty spot, and then Mitroglou went and scored his second and Benfica's second in the game immediately after half-time. This one, though, was again a very good finish from him. Apparently, I'm weak with crosses from wide areas, seemingly so far in pre-season here at Valencia. We mentioned in the first episode, after going through the squad report, I wasn't sure where this side could be strengthened, and after playing with a 4-3-3 formation for 3 games, I felt strong enough with the side, but against teams like Valencia and Zenit, I really did struggle. We are back on level terms here against Benfica again, thanks to a really strong run from Alvaro Negredo. He's not the fastest, but they couldn't cope with his strength. Luizão, though, was too strong for the man pushing through the middle there, getting a little bit physical there, post the foul being given as well, but he clearly won the ball. It wasn't a foul, but Dani Parejo's going to step up, and we get so fortunate with the way that the ball goes into the back of the net. They got lucky with their first, the rebound going to the second striker. Dani Parejo from this free kick hits the bar, it comes back down, and you'll see from the replay it actually comes off the goalkeeper's back to go into the back of the net. It's really unlucky for him, but we will take it 3-2 up in this game, and eventually going to get the 3-2 victory as well. Hard-fought victory after going 1-0 and 2-1 down, so I was pleased with the fight back in the side, and the quality in the depth of the squad is definitely better here than it is at Nottingham Forest, like we saw over the past couple of days in that series. However, I think I could do with another central midfielder. We have 4 really world-class, well, not necessarily world-class, but 4 top-quality midfielders here. Javi Fuego, Gomez, Dani Parejo and Enzo Perez. Now, obviously, we have, if we're going to continue with the 4-3-3, 3 of those players starting in the first team, and if someone gets injured, that's it. We don't have any other backup for those central midfield roles other than mid-60 or low-60 rated youth players that really aren't going to cut it at the highest level, which is where obviously we'll be playing with Valencia. We want to challenge at the top of La Liga, we want to go for the Copa del Rey, we want to do our best in the Champions League, and we could do with a touch of luck like we got there through Paco Alcacer as well, going 1-0 up here against Junior. They actually presented themselves as quite the tough test. It took me ages, a good 40 minutes or so in game, to try and figure out how to break them down. Once we did, though, it was a little bit easier to try and work opportunities. You can see eventually here Andre Gomez is going to give this around the corner to Rodrigo, gets the turn inside and a decent finish across into the far bottom corner. That gives us a 2-0 lead after 56 minutes. Rodrigo and Paco Alcacer have made very good impressions on me so far as part of the front 3, and obviously we know all about Sofiane Feghouli from the Wolfsburg series that we did at the beginning of the FIFA 16 years. So I'm really pleased with the front 3 from my starting 11, and we have a couple of players to be able to come off the bench, like Zakaria Bakali, like, is it Mino or Mine? Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. He did score against Real Madrid, not Real Madrid, scored against Barcelona at the weekend just gone to equalise for Valencia late on. But Rodrigo is going to make it 3-0 here with 12 minutes to go in this game to give us a solid 3-0 victory. So we win 3-0. We win 3-2 and we draw 1-1. We are definitely through to the quote-unquote knockout stages of this pre-season tournament. We face Fiorentina in 3 days' time. An extra £1.5 million has been added to the transfer budget, which I'm thinking I'm going to use on a youth scout. That seems like the perfect opportunity and probably the perfect amount of money as well to go out and pick up one of the top youth scouts, because they're normally around about £1.4 million. So it seems like the right thing to do in this scenario. Fiddled with the budget a little bit, as you can see, dropped it to £45 million. We've got almost close to £300,000 in wages, because if we're going to bring in a world-class player or players that are going to be good enough for the squad, we're going to need, say 3 sets of £100,000 a week-ish for 3 different players. So, just making sure we've got enough money both in the transfer budget and in the wage budget to, interest the sort of, the level of player, the calibre of player that we want to bring to the club. Again, continuing with the training, concentrating on the young players that have the highest potential, players like Paco Alcacer, Bakali, De Paul, Gomez, and Matt Ryan actually apparently appears to have some good potential for the future. So Diego Alves will be my number 1 goalkeeper once he's back from the Copa del Rey. We do have extra wide players with Pablo Piatti as well when he gets back from international duty, so I'm not worried about the front 3. Obviously Negredo Alfredo is proving to be quite handy as well, popping up with the 2 goals against Benfica. So he seems to be quite good for rotation with Alcacer, and obviously Rodrigo can play at strike as well. But at wing back on the right-hand side and in the centre of midfield, I think, are the main places I want to improve, if possible. And I might contemplate picking up another centre-back as well. Maybe not a world-class centre-back, maybe someone that could grow over a season or two, but I definitely think we could probably do some extra depth in that particular area of the pitch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I say, this is going up, or I'm recording this before you've seen episode 1, so I'm sure for tomorrow's video, which I will record on Monday after you've seen episode number 1, I'll be able to start scouting some of the transfer suggestions that you guys have given me, and we'll start to go, you know, balls deep into the transfer window in this series, the same way we have done with the Nottingham Forest series. If you missed any of the Nottingham Forest series, there have been 3 episodes uploaded to date. Then check the channel page for them, or the first episode in this series, of course, which went up yesterday, or any of the other content on the channel. There was a couple of absolutely spectacular My Player episodes over the weekend, and we have the season finale tonight as well against Tottenham, so that's not to be missed. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, check the channel page for all of those videos, follow the links in the description as well to my Twitch, to my Twitter, and follow me on both of those, and to the No Identity merchandise store as well if you'd like to pick yourself up a t-shirt in time for Christmas. But for now, I will leave you with your rest of your sub box to go and watch some other people's videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.